let's move on to, we'll do this a bit quicker in terms of drops. Players who are rostered in more than 50% of leagues that you could probably do better. You could probably either stream the position or just look for one of those guys that we talked about in our ads. Cal, who is someone that you can drop and move on from?
All right. So this guy right now is owned at 56% of the league. It's too much. He should be dropped. He shouldn't be owned in that many leagues. He is putting up 12 points. This is Anthony Edwards, the number one pick of the draft. 12 points, but nothing else. That's really beneficial to a team. 2.9 rebounds, 1.9 steals. That hurts you. 1.9 assists, 0.5 steals. That's not good. 0.2 blocks. That's terrible. Field goal percent is 38% from the field. So he's hurting you there. It's one of those guys who's like puts up some points, but even then it's sporadic and everything else hurts your team. So he's not a good player to have. I think if you want to hold out, maybe he'll put it up, but I don't think this is his year. Anthony Edwards is a bit of a project. He needs a few more years really to become a fantasy asset.
Yeah, look, he's probably being owned because he's the number one pick. He's got that name value, but yeah, like you said, we picked him in our rookies. We were not high on him, and it looks like that's true. And this is even with Carlton down, missing time, and Cat's back now, so it's only going to get even worse. So I definitely agree. I would not be going near him at all.
You didn't have to go so hard on him, man. I'm an owner of Anthony Edwards. I just talked up.
Oh, you're an owner. Have I convinced you?
You got to return the favor. You can't just be roasting him like
Dude,
that.
Are you going to drop him after this, Jermayne?
Oh, he's been on the very edge for a very long time. I should have dropped him weeks ago, but
I think it's the time now, mate. I think it's the time.
Hey, Jermaine, Robin Lopez is on the trade finder. So.
Do you really want him? I'd rather Robin Lopez almost.
That's true. That's true.
You could see him on the waiver wire in the next few days. But.
Yeah. I think there's really no reason to hold on to Anthony Edwards. I agree with you there, Cal. Jermaine, who's your first drop?
My first player is Alfred Payton. He's owned in a whopping 62% leagues. This dude is just not a good player in general. I don't know. I mean, he hasn't been good on the Magic. He's on the Knicks now, so even a worse situation. Like, I don't think this. I don't know how people 62% of leagues have this guy rostered because he's averaging 14 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists.
That's decent, man. I don't know about that.
Starting point guard, he's only averaging 0.6 steals, 0.2 blocks, 2.3 turnovers for his 4 assists. 63% from the line.
Yeah, he hurts you from the line, definitely.
Yeah, he hurts you in threes too, just that 0.8.
Yeah, 0.8 threes as well. So he's not good at anything, but he's going to hurt you in a bunch of other things. So
I'll push back on that, and the 4.5 assists is valuable. I think that's valuable. In the right build, in your build, Jermaine.
No,
in that punt free throw percentage, punt threes.
Categories of this dude.
That's all right. He's the end of the bench sort of guy. I think he's valuable. What I am worried about though is the competition for his minutes as the season ends. I think that is it quickly. What's his first
quickly
name?
The rookie.
Yeah, the rookie quickly. I think he could be taking away some minutes from Alfred Payton as the season goes on. Although in saying that, Thibodeau, I don't know, doesn't play his rookies, so who knows? But he quickly has looked like the much better player, and it wouldn't surprise me if he takes the job off Alfred relatively soon, as the Knicks start to suck more than they are currently.
Like Alfred has been, for the last month, he's been ranked 242.
That's on the back of the free throw percentage, though. If you guys just keep talking, I'll see where he ranks as a punt free throw percentage guy. But
he's not giving you assists. I mean, he's not giving you steals or blocks or threes and free throws. Not great. So.
But he's still giving the 14, 4 and 4 is still valuable.
That's what
compared to other players out there.
They all count though. They all count.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. In certain builds, I think you can hold him. But if you're someone who looks after those things that you're talking about, then you definitely can drop him and move on. But just make sure that your build can sort of take his free throws, or you don't give a fuck, so it doesn't matter. Or like if you're like me, you don't care about free turnovers, and that doesn't matter either. Okay, let's move on to the next drop, which is my drop and my first one. And look, my 2 drops, unfortunately, are players that are on my team. And the first one may surprise everyone. It's James Wiseman. And look, some people may not like this one. I think this might be like, what the fuck? James Wiseman, he's looked amazing. if you are someone who is struggling in the standings, you've got some injuries, you've got some players out with protocol, I think it is okay to move on from Wiseman because he is not playing enough minutes at the moment. And I don't think his minutes are going to increase dramatically anytime soon. I think if you can hold him and you think you're going to make the playoffs, and I think you're confident with that, or you're doing well in your league, you hold. You definitely hold, because at the end of the year, he is probably going to be a must roster player. But at the moment, I think he's just not providing enough stats to be held if you need the wins right now, because a lot of the league has lots of injuries. There's lots of protocols and things going on right now. So what's he playing in terms of minutes? I'm just looking it up right now, but he's not finishing games for the Warriors. He's getting subbed out. They're playing a lot of Eric Pascal and Draymond Green small ball. So his minutes are probably not going to go up because he's just not contributing to winning basketball. The blocks are nice, but he's hurting you in free throw percentage. He doesn't get any assists or steals. The threes are no longer there. So he's a bit of a stash at this point rather than someone who's actually contributing to your team. He's ranked he's a 222nd ranked player at the moment, which is obviously not rosterable. So if you need to, I think you can drop Wiseman if you need the wins. What do you guys think? I'm holding him though, by the way, because I'm confident in our league.
I think he's just one of those young dudes on a winning team now, like a win now team. So
yeah,
and it's just going to take a bit of time. It might take this entire season.
Yeah,
yeah, it's not something, depending on your situation, I guess. Or your
it's a situation dependent sort of drop, I think. Like for example, for me personally, I like my chances to make the playoffs. I have not missed the playoffs in our league yet. So hopefully, even if I scrape in there and Wiseman's playing his best basketball by then I consider that a win. So, but if you need to get the wins, I would drop him.
I would say that my Anthony Edwards is a very similar. I know I'm making the playoffs, so I'm just waiting, for him to.
I don't see the upside with Edwards. Wiseman's got upside. I don't see it with Edwards. Not on that
just
team.
You wait.
All right, Cal, who's your last drop?
All right, my last drop. I mentioned him last podcast. It's got to be Danilo Galinari.
Yeah.
He is 62% owned. He is on a very deep team. I've barked on him before. He's coming off the bench. He's going to play limited minutes. He was known for scoring and your free throws, really elite in those two categories. Coming off the bench, it's not really going to be there. He might have the odd game here and there where he's going to put up some points. If you hear word that there's injuries, then he's going to start. You can pick him up, but I think just get rid of him at this point. He's not worth owning. He's injured right now under, I think it's just the COVID protocols. But he's not a positive really for your team currently. And there's better players out there.
I think he is actually injured. It's got right ankle sprain next to his name. So, and he's been dealing with that for quite a while. He came back and played 3 minutes before re-injuring it last time. So they're going to be cautious. Yeah,
there you go. And he's always going to have that injury prone kind of, label on his head just because of previous seasons. I've owned him before and he was putting up really good stats. This is years ago. And then he just went down just before the playoffs and it pissed me off a fair bit because he carried my free throws so much. So maybe, look, I've got a bit of a bias against him after that. But look,
I think it's fair. I think it's fair. There's no reason to be holding on for someone who's injured, who's going to come back, who may not even be top 100. I don't think he's worth the stash there. Potentially, even if you've got an injury reserve spot, because there's so many injuries happening right now, with the protocols and things like that, it can be hard to hold a guy that doesn't really have much upside. So I definitely think he's a drop, and he definitely shouldn't be in 62% leagues. Do you think the same, Jermayne, or you happy to hold him?
I'd be dropping him, honestly.
Yeah,
I think there's too much competition.
Yeah,
in that team, so
there's not enough upside.
Yeah,
drop him immediately. Jermayne, who's your last drop?
Bit of an obvious one. I'm sure we all think of this, but Hassan Whiteside. He's owned in 68% of leagues, ranked 321 in the past month.
Oof.
Yeah, and that's simply just because he just hasn't been playing.
Yeah,
I mean, he's been playing like 10 minutes a game. Or one stint against Portland, he played 24. He put up numbers, but I just don't think he's in the same shape as he was last year. And he's just one of those big dudes. If he's not in shape, he's not playing. I
also just think he's not good. I think he's just not a good player. I don't think he.
Yeah, I agree with
that. Yeah, I don't think he's NBA caliber. really anymore. He's sort of like that, at best, like that Boban kind of type that if you see the matchup, like, say Holmes is out injured and you may be able to stream him in for a day or two at best, but long-term hold. He's just not getting the minutes. He's got a few games where like there's 0 minutes there. That's not an injury. That's him just not getting time on the court and the coach is not putting him in. So I definitely drop him. Forget the top, what was he, top 30 player that he was last year. He's just
something like that.
Yeah, he's always been a good stats, bad player sort of player. So, and it's reflecting now with the minutes. So definitely drop him. Stream only.
I'll add. For some reason, he's plus 4% the last day. That makes no sense since the last 2 games he's put up 10 minutes. But it's not really. He was on a desperate team for a center last season with the injuries. This season, he moved to a team in Sacramento Kings who have Holmes, who is actually a really good player, and Bagley's literally gone into like a backup center role. And when I say that, it's because when they close games, they're bringing Halliburton on, and Marvin Bagley's been playing on the bench. Marvin Bagley has been putting up 20 minutes for the past couple of weeks, so he's taken a hit fantasy wise. And if you look at that, it's literally Holmes is your number 1 center. Bagley, I guess, is the B option. And Hassan's the 3rd string center for this team. That's why he's putting up 10 minutes a game the past couple of games. So he's not worth owning. The only reason you pick him up if there is an injury, and then he'll put up some stats again. But he's just, one of those guys, big stats, bad player.
Yep. Sticking with the Kings theme, my last drop of the day is Marvin Bagley, another player that I unfortunately own. Look.
I segued that to you nicely.
Yeah, thanks for the assist there, Cal. But like I've been holding out. I still currently holding him, but I'm getting very close to dropping. And I think you can definitely find something better on the wire or stream the position, because I just don't think he's good. I think I've seen enough to sort of realize that he's just not a good player. Yes, he was number 2 pick, but it was awful at the time. I don't know what the Kings were thinking picking him over Doncic. Like everyone at the time thought that was bad, and it's proven to be right. He's playing power forward. He's not a power forward. He's a center. Holmes is the better center, and he's not even closing the games for the Kings at the moment. He's sitting on the bench in the 4th quarter, playing 25.
Better.
Sorry?
Halliburton's just a better player. So
Halliburton's a much better player, and he definitely deserves the minutes over him. So he gets some kind of points, and he gets the rebounds. Yeah, sure. And he did have not too long ago a decent game with 21-12, 2 steals and 2 blocks. But just following that up, it's sporadic at best. The percentages are rough. The free throws is really hurting your teams. The field goal percentage is poor for a big man, and just no assists, no steals, no blocks, no threes. There's just not enough goodness there to sort of make him worthwhile dropping. If you're in a really strong position, maybe you continue to hold, but I don't even see the upside that he has compared to someone like Wiseman. I think he's just not even close to as good of a player or statistical producer in limited minutes. So I think you can easily move on from Bagley, especially if percentages are a concern. Any gripes with that one, boys?
No, completely agreed. Drop that boy.
Drop that boy. Alrighty, guys. Well, that will do it for us today. If you are on Twitter, please follow us at Ball Boys NBA, where we're talking Twitter, talking NBA and fantasy, quick reactions and things like that. So if you can't wait for our next podcast, follow us over there. Give us a like on YouTube, subscribe, tell your mates to subscribe. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, so help us out here by letting all your mates know. And if you listen to us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, chuck us a 5-star rating. It'll really help us out. And until next time, catch us later. Bye.